Pnawn Tha, and a very warm welcome to the Stoke Kairas. Wrexham 12 matches to go in League One. Start the final quarter of the season this afternoon against mid-table Rotherham United, aiming to build on an excellent victory in South Yorkshire against Huddersfield Town in midweek. Phil Parkinson's side breathing down the neck of Wycombe Wanderers, 2 points behind the Chairboys as they start the afternoon in third place. And we've got perfect conditions here in North Wales for Parkinson's side to get on the front foot against a visiting opponent led by the redoubtable Steve Evans. Andy Morrell and Mia Roberts are alongside me as ever. Mia, first of all, happy International Women's Day to you today. How are you feeling?
Brilliant. You know, just another day being a woman in football. No, thank you very much. I never know how to respond to the International Women's Day thing, but thank you very much.
Well, Mia, we do know that recently, it wasn't quite on International Women's Day, but you have found your inner Steve Fletcher in the last few days, because as I think we can see on screen now, you were on target for Llandudno. Moment of talk us through the header.
Shearer, yeah. No, just from a corner. Yeah, I think my first in the league this season, second all comps. But yeah, didn't get the result we wanted that day, so obviously not too happy with it overall. But individually, nice to get on the score sheet for once.
Andy Morrell, also someone who's used to getting on the score sheet. Andy, Rotherham United arrived today in some decent recent form with 2 straight league victories, but their away form over the last 2 or 3 seasons hasn't really been a strength, has it?
No, though I think there's 6 wins away from home in the last 69, so
wow.
It's definitely got us getting beat today, hasn't it, written all over it? Those sorts of stats. But yeah, like you say, the last 2 though they've managed to win away from home, and so these are the trickiest games for me because they're the ones that you're not fully mentally ready. If you're not fully mentally ready, you're going to get beat because they've not got a great deal to play for at the moment, so they can go free and go play and go and enjoy their football, and they're the dangerous teams because they're the ones that come and bite you on the backside, if you like.
Well, let's have a look without further ado at the Wrexham 11, who Phil Parkinson has named to tackle 14th place Rotherham United this afternoon. And as is often the way with the manager, he has stayed loyal to the team who won last time out. The only change from the starting 11 sees Elliot Lee make a welcome return in midfield. George Dobson, injured in midweek at Huddersfield and withdrawn in the 49th minute, will hopefully catch up with Phil Parkinson shortly and get a lens on how serious the Dobson injury might be. But Lee comes back into midfield. That brings George Evans back to the bench, a welcome return for him. First time we've seen him in a League One squad for quite some time. So Okonkwo will be in goal, back 3, Cleworth, O'Connell the captain and O'Connor. Longman continues at right wing back, Seb Revan at left wing back, Matty James alongside Elliot Lee and Ollie Rathbone in midfield, Sam Smith and Jay Rodriguez again paired in attack, and just that one change on the bench I mentioned, with Evans coming in for Lee, and Howard, McLean, Scar, Barnett, Fletcher and Marriott are once again named as substitutes. Mia, your reflections on the starting team?
Yeah, I think, like you say, obviously Phil Parkinson known for sort of sticking with what's working, and you can't say that team isn't working in terms of grinding out results, obviously particularly more away from home as of late. But you know, obviously I think we were expecting that George Dobson one to be the only change, with obviously we saw him at the end of that Huddersfield game on crutches. I think it was that ankle that he's just got a knock on again, which isn't great, because I think he's been a real strong performer for us in the last few games. But hopefully Elliot can come in and get back to the form. You know, he's already got, I think he's on 7 goals already this season, isn't it? So you know, if he can keep notching some of them in, that's what we need from our midfielders. And hopefully I think I noticed it a bit when he came on, and it sort of pushed Jay Rodriguez a bit more forward. It allowed Elliot Lee to take that sort of number 10 role, that sort of area of the pitch, and hopefully if we can get Rodriguez a bit further forward, he could be more of a threat up top there with Sam Smith.
Andy, 4 straight away wins, but the last 4 league games here, 2 drawn and 2 lost. Will that play on the players' mind at all?
No, I don't think so, because you always just look to your last game, which was a really gritty, determined win away at Huddersfield, and I think they'll take massive confidence from that, beating somebody in and around the playoffs as well into this sort of game. And I think just one change, I was surprised. I thought he might tinker with the wing backs a little bit, but he hasn't. He's, like Mir says, he's stuck with the people that have done the job for him, and they probably deserve to keep the shirt. And so, yeah, it's just carry on like you were, do exactly like you did against Huddersfield, and you should be good enough to beat a Rotherham team here that are mid-table.
Mia, having been at Huddersfield in midweek, what stood out for you in the performance?
To be honest, it wasn't the most spectacular of performances. I think we could both agree on that. It was, like Andy says, I think that's the perfect word for it, a bit gritty. You just have to work hard, and if you come out with 3 points, it's a massive, massive win. And we definitely felt that, when the final whistle went, that we were under a little bit of pressure. I think Huddersfield had 1 or 2 corners in the last few minutes, and we sort of were just crying out for that final whistle. But you come away from it against the Huddersfield side, who I know are really struggling at home, but it sort of felt like if they got that 1 goal, that would sort of enable them to go on and get more. So I think that's a massive 3 points, especially now when you look around the table and see where we are in the position we're in. I think it's massive, and obviously the performance wasn't there, but that's something we can put right again today, especially at home.
I think there's been a shift in the squad since the transfer window shut, where at the start of the season we had 8-9 players. I think it's only Dobson really that was new to the squad, and he had trusted the people that had got us to where we were in that promotion from last year. But you can see now, the team on Tuesday only had 3 or 4 of our players from last season. The whole rest of the midfield and the front 2 were all new. So I think there's definitely a shift in the players that we're utilising now. Is that the players that have come in, they've sort of got embedded into the squad. They understand their roles now, and they're certainly taking on the responsibility of these latter wins.
An interesting and unusual aspect of today's game, Matty James, Andy, coming up against his brother Reece in the Rotherham side. What will that be like, do you think, if they crunch into a key tackle with one another?
Well, I remember playing my brother in a cricket match and he caught me out on the opposition. So, yeah, absolutely ridiculous. And he brought it up at my wedding. So,
bragging rights truly banked.
It'll be a really nice moment for her, I'm sure. Do you know what I mean? But once the whistle goes for the first kick, it'll be a job to do. Utilise your space. You do all your jobs that you are in the team to do. And then afterwards, it'll be a shake of hands and probably a phone call and a beer probably between them.
Mia, up front today for Rotherham, Johnson Clark-Harris, who was prolific at Peterborough, and Sam Nombe, leading scorer for Rotherham this season. What sort of challenges do you think they're going to bring to the Wrexham back 3?
They're both really good players, like you say, particularly Johnson Clark-Harris at Peterborough. Obviously the goals he scored, he hasn't quite hit the probably heights he would have been expecting to here at Rotherham. I think he's only notched about 6 so far this season, but particularly in the last few games, I think something he's really targeted is that back line, and try and be a bit of a bullish striker and just really try and win his aerial battles. And that's something today we've got to be switched on to. I think in recent weeks our back 3 have been really strong. Owen O'Connell in particular, who's come back in after a few below par games for his standards, and he's been winning those aerial battles really well. So that's what he's going to have to do today up top against someone like Johnson Clark-Harris. He'll be looking to get right up against him and make his day more difficult, and try and get them flick-ons into Nombe, who can get the ball in the back of that net.
And of course, Andy, one thing not to forget for all Wrexham fans, this is the second meanest defence in the league, only 28 conceded. That, of course, isn't just about the back 3 and the keeper. You defend across the pitch, but going into this final quarter of the season, that should give the side confidence that although they might have not been the most prolific up front, they've got a defence which rarely has a bad day.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's the whole squad. They go into that mid-block. They all sort of know their jobs. They work so hard within that. We just need a striker to catch fire now. Just one of the new boys, or one of the, it doesn't matter who, but just somebody that we can rely on to just put the ball in the back of the net to maybe just take us over the line. We haven't had it yet all season. Maybe Marriott the first half of the first 10 games, but we haven't had anybody recently that's really just been able to rely on to he's more than likely going to score, and we just need that. And hopefully we can start with a Smith or a Rodriguez goal today.
Just on that point, Andy, how much do you think it will be playing on the minds of Jay Rodriguez and Sam Smith that they haven't quite got the goal-scoring return thus far that they might have hoped for, having had half a dozen games?
Yeah, they'll be disappointed, but for me, I'm looking at Jay Rodriguez's performances, and I think they've got better and better the fitter he's got. But he's also had a chance in every game, a really good chance in every game as well. And so I'm thinking it's coming. It's just one of them. He'll take one of them. Just been a little bit soft with a couple. I thought he might have finished with the violence on a couple, but it's been good save, good block on the line, etc. But he's getting chances. Same with Smith. He's running hard and he's so important for the team. They are getting chances. So it's just a matter of time, and just because it's a new 2 coming into a new team as well. It's not like they've just been put together and they've been here 3 years. It's a new team and a new pairing. So they're all still finding their feet, but things look good so far for them, and just need those goals to go. Let's do it.
I can see we have Phil Parkinson looming here. Chance to catch up with Phil before kick-off today. Always nice to catch up with the Wrexham manager. Good afternoon, Phil. Good to see you again. We'll start with your team today. Just the one change from the team victorious at Huddersfield. Elliot Lee coming in for George Dobson. Just talk us through your selection, and perhaps you could update us on George's injury.
Yeah, George twisted his ankle a couple of weeks ago, and then he just went over it again against Huddersfield. So it's swollen up. It's not a serious injury, but it was enough to keep him out today.
Any other marginal calls for you when you made your selection?
Yeah, I think there's always food for thought, but the lads recovered well, we felt, Thursday in training. Elliot's obviously been, chomping at the bit to get his chance again after his car crash. So he comes back in, and yeah, I just feel that, the last home game was a really energetic kind of performance from us, and we've gone with the same team more or less.
The victory in midweek you described as gritty. When you look at the wins you've had in the last 4 on the road, was it the one that perhaps gave you the most satisfaction in terms of the opposition and the way it was won?
Yeah, I think so, because of the stature of the game. I think it was a different type of win. When you think Crawley scored in the first minute, Northampton 2 up after 20 minutes, Mansfield scored early, real dominance in this game. So yeah, it was a different type of game, similar to the win we had against Rotherham, really, in terms of you're playing a team, a top-end team. We've got a lot of good players at Huddersfield, we know that. I thought we dealt with them well. We practically restricted them to nothing in the second half and got the all-important goal. So it was a performance down to the spirit and the togetherness of the group.
Steve Evans in the opposition dugout this afternoon. Phil, a man you've come up against many times in your managerial career. What sort of a Rotherham side do you expect him to send out today?
Yeah, I think with Steve's teams, they're always physical, well organised. They'll play forward early. They're not going to. It would be a different feel to the game as the Bolton game was. They're not going to play out from the back. They'll go direct onto what will look like a front three or a diamond at times, with Malik Wilkes just dropping in. So we've got to be ready to deal with that physicality. But equally, if we can play through or over their front three, then there's space to switch the play and exploit their back four.
They're sitting mid-table at the moment, something they've not tended to be in recent seasons. They've tended to be in promotion or relegation fights. Does that make them a little bit more dangerous, perhaps with the pressure off a bit? How do you see that?
Who knows? Who knows on that? I think Rotherham have always been at the top end of this division or bottom end of the championship, the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever it is. So yeah, it's a bit of a rebuild season for them. What that will create today, I don't know. I'm just concerned about, or concentrating on ourselves and getting the performance as close to the Bolton performance as we can, because I think if we do, we'll have a great chance of winning.
Just finally, and off the field, Phil, great news this week with the COP getting approved at the planning approval stage on Monday. How much are you looking forward to seeing that shape up?
Yeah, I think it's brilliant for the club and the area as well, and it's another stage of the owners' progression for the club, and obviously it's taken a bit longer than everybody originally wanted, but the most important thing is that the planning's where we want it to be, and it's going to be an amazing stand for this. It's going to really bring the ground together, and yeah, we're very excited about it.
Fantastic. Well, Phil, thanks for joining us. We look forward to catching up post-match.
Thank you. Cheers.
Wrexham manager Phil Parkinson giving us his perspective on today's game. Good to hear there, Mia, that George Dobson's injury doesn't sound too serious from Huddersfield, and hopefully he'll be available for selection in the next week or two, perhaps.
Yeah, hope so. Obviously, with the Andy Cannon one that we know is long term, the last thing he wanted was another, long term one in there as well. But like Phil says, massive opportunity now for Elliot Lee, who's obviously been desperate to get back in since the car incident. So a massive opportunity for him to come in today, and obviously if the George Dobson one isn't too long term, Elliot Lee will want to stay in there and make sure Dobson doesn't come straight back in when he's fully fit.
Let's have a reminder then of the League One league table as we start this afternoon's fixtures, and we'll have a look at the moment at who's playing who this afternoon. A couple of lunchtime kick-offs as well to bring you up to speed on in a moment, including a top of the table battle between Stockport and Charlton. Teams right in the mix, as you can see there. Stockport 4 and Charlton 5th and this table is live, so this assumes that their match continues as it was a moment ago, to be drawn at full time. As we can see on the screen, Wrexham just 2 points behind Wycombe Wanderers. Rotherham down there in 14th position, Andy, but buoyed by the 2 wins. It does look, though, a long shot for them to have a run at the playoffs from this point. They're 11 points clear of the drop zone, so they're pretty much the first team that Wrexham have faced on this start of the run-in that you'd say, well, they're kind of in the relax and enjoy the rest of the season, but it would take a miracle for it to really change up one end or down the other for them. Yeah,
you sort of say they're on the beach already, but they certainly won't be with Steve Evans in charge, because he's right at it and right.
I don't think he does speeches, Steve.
I don't think so. No. So that's going to be this is going to be just as tough as any of the other games coming up. We've got really tough games in the next 2, so they're going to be equally. And I think this is hard, but we've got to make sure our home form now is we make sure we get a win really at home, to just make sure we go back to it being that fortress that we know it is. I think the crowd are going to play such a big part. They were brilliant against Bolton. They were insanely good at Huddersfield, and so hopefully we can get this place rocking again. Hopefully somebody can give us something to get behind early on, and then that'll carry us through.
Yeah, that could be the real ignition, couldn't it? An early goal for Wrexham. Let's have a look at the other fixtures today around the league, as Wycombe Wanderers, Wrexham's rivals for that second automatic position, head across to Peterborough United, who have picked up late alongside Andy's old colleague Darren Ferguson. First of all, let's confirm those 2 early results. Crawley all square with Reading, and Stockport and Charlton finishing goalless. Barnsley face Blackpool this afternoon. Birmingham, who were beaten last week surprisingly at Bolton, are at home to Lincoln. Bristol Rovers face out of form Huddersfield. Burton are the next opposition for Stephen Schumacher's in-form Wanderers. Exeter against Shrewsbury. Orient face Northampton. It's Peterborough Wycombe, as I mentioned. Stevenage up against Mansfield, and Wigan square up to Cambridge. Mia, looking down those fixtures, well, certainly the first result of interest to Wrexham today has probably gone exactly as we'd want it, with Stockport and Charlton being all square.
Yeah, I think all eyes at the moment are going to that Wycombe game, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Let's also keep a little eye on who's behind us, who's the chasing pack as well. And yeah, brilliant that Stockport have dropped points again.
And Reading as well.
And Reading
just
as well,
outside
absolutely.
the playoffs.
Yeah, it's just so tight in that sort of chasing pack, isn't it? So you just need them to sort of keep that pressure off us as much as possible. But that Wycombe game again, going to Peterborough at the moment, that's not an easy task. We obviously saw Peterborough performance here the other week in the semi-final, and they were a very good team, I thought, and they'll be absolutely buoyed and buoyant by that, and now having the chance to get to Wembley, there'll be players on that team who'll know they've got to put performances in to get into that starting 11 when they do get to that final.
But I think you can change so quickly. You've just seen Orient there, who came here and were brilliant. They did really well and saw the game. And they've lost the last 4. It can turn so quickly. You've just got to stay on it. Every day is a training day. You've got to learn. You've got to keep going, and you've got to perform every time you go out on the pitch, because it can turn so quickly that you find yourself, well, what's happened there? We've just lost the last 4 because they come that quickly.
Wrexham, of course, head to Reading on Tuesday night, and then on the road again next Saturday to face Wycombe Wanderers. And I'm pleased to announce it'll be the first time that we take Matchday live on the road. So we will be with you there at Adams Park as Wrexham face up to the Chairboys, what could be a crucial battle for the second automatic promotion spot. Well, of course, in midweek, Wrexham made the relatively short journey to Yorkshire to come up against Huddersfield Town. It proved to be a good night for the Red Dragons.
And he started this spell, which now sees Huddersfield camped in Wrexham's half. Ruskins again is going to go at Longman, who stands up well. Ruskins pulls it back, driven into the box by Ruffles, comes through. Is it offside though? Yes, it is. He looked off to me. Karuma lunged in and flicked it in from 6 yards out. And yeah, I thought so. The flag's gone up. And does well to get it back to Rodriguez, who takes it beautifully on his thigh. Driving down the left, Smith's in the middle. He looks inside for Dobson. That's unlucky. If he'd found him, he'd have been all on his own in the box. Big interception by Evans. Great tackle back by Rathbone. No, Dobson shoots. He should have played it right, shouldn't he? Because Longman was running into a great position. Blocked. O'Connell looks to thread it through, doesn't find Smith. The break is on. Shareva, good ball, and it's fed nicely on, and it's 1-1 against Okonkwo. Collins lashes it over the bar. Such an uncomposed finish. That Rathbone on the right driving over the top. That's a nice idea for Smith, and he's done well to nod it down to Rodriguez. It's the first time. Brilliant save by the keeper. What a hit by Rodriguez. Squares it inside Chirewa. Neat little change of feet. He sets it backwards. Ruffles sweeps it into the far post. O'Connor heads it away well. Lee wins an important ball on the edge of the box. Hodge with the shot just over. Conquo lunging at it, may have had it covered, but good effort that by Hodge, and Wrexham survive. As Huddersfield looking to go forwards, Matty James, well, looked more of a foul that than the ones the ref's been giving as he clattered into his man. And now Rathbone is charging forwards, gets to the edge of the box. Smith the cross, Smith is there! What a save! And somehow Fletcher scores! It's in! Wrexham score! Fletcher straight off the bench! 73rd minute! It was a scrappy goal. A brilliant save to deny Smith, but Fletcher from inches out just managed to dig out the finish. Huddersfield are furious. They felt it was a foul by Matty James, and I've got to say, the number of free kicks he's given for minimal contact, James really slammed into his man there, I thought, but the ref didn't give it. The ref surrounded by Huddersfield players complaining, but Fletcher has scored off the bench again. Great ball by Rathbone. Huddersfield looking to set themselves. Sorensen lays it off. They're trying to work that little triangle again, but Wrexham keep their shape well. Sorensen though turns well, level the edge of the area, feeds it square, manages to latch onto it now. And can he hit the shot left-footed? He does, and puts it wide. The signal, the delivery, near post. Keeper nearly gets a touch. Shot comes in, and he's missed it. He missed the ball completely, and there is the final whistle. Wrexham win at Huddersfield. A huge away victory. Stephen Fletcher with the goal.
Victory in Yorkshire then for Phil Parkinson's side. 4 straight away wins with that victory in midweek. Stephen Fletcher coming off the bench once more. Andy Morrell, Fletcher, he scored 7 times this season. 5 of those have been match-winning goals. He really has been worth his weight in gold so far this season. It's almost so difficult to retain a sense of perspective, because it almost becomes the case that every time he comes on now, there's an expectation he's going to win the game for Wrexham.
But I think he's in that point as well, though. I think he's going to come on, and I think he feels like he's going to go and score the winner as well. And he said, I'm nearly 38, I feel 28. He feels brilliant. He's only used bit part, but that bit is so key. And what Phil Parkinson was saying about him around the place, and the little bits he does before matches at half time and all that type of thing, is so important to the group. He's been a brilliant addition to it, and goals. I've just done a poll on Twitter actually about who's going to finish top goal scorer for us, and he's got the vote. Only my mum and dad voted, but because that's all I've got following me. Andy? But they both said Fletcher really, and Max was next. Do you know what I mean? Out of the people that we've got on there, so really straight, coming on for 20 minutes and changing games and being that important. He's won 16 points, I think it is, for us. What a great addition to the place. I
think he's joined, substitute scorer now for Wrexham AFC. I think
that's right. Yes, that's right.
Start, isn't it? And I think he's in the league this season the highest goals scored per 90. Obviously, that
and he's well ahead of his expected goals. I think he's the only Wrexham striker. Jack Marriott marginally, but he's well ahead of his XG expected goals ratio.
You can just see the difference when he comes on. We talk about it so often. Just his quality in that first touch off the chest. It's so great to watch. But not just that, the position he finds. A lot of people will say that goal on Tuesday scrappy, and it's just right place, right time. But he's in there for a reason. It's because he sniffed it out. I think we said it on comms. Sam Smith should probably score the initial header from what was a fantastic Ollie Rathbone cross. But Stephen Fletcher finds himself in that position. I know there were some shouts for offside. We'll just ignore them. But he's in that position again, and that's what you have to be as a striker.
I think he understands his role here now as well, which is so important. He's not desperate to start and get disappointed when he doesn't start. He understands what he is, which is, I'm coming on, I'll be 30 minutes, 20 minutes, and I'm going on to either change the game, keep the game, or win us the game. Do you know what I mean? And I know my role, and that's what he does, and so he knows exactly his job beforehand, and I think that's been brilliant management by Phil Parkinson.
Well, talking of strikers, I had the chance this week to catch up with a former Wrexham and Rotherham striker as plight of our Played for Both recurring feature. Matt Derbyshire arrived in North Wales as a young centre-forward on loan from Blackburn Rovers. And whilst his stay with us was relatively short, he certainly made an impact in terms of goals.
Stay live
MATCHDAY, a player who represented both Wrexham and Rotherham United in time past. But before we get to your time at both clubs, perhaps you could just bring us up to date. What are you up to nowadays?
Coaching, doing a lot of coaching. Really, really enjoy myself coaching and helping develop the next generation. Currently got my own coaching business, as well as being the director and head coach at Moorland private school here.
Still heavily involved in the game. And of course, your time at Wrexham came about as a loan move from your hometown club, Blackburn Rovers, back in the 2005-06 season. 16 appearances for the Red Dragons, and a prolific time it was, with 10 goals under the tutelage of Dennis Smith. What are your recollections of your time with us in North Wales?
Fantastic, great club. Loved the club, loved my time there, and I think at that point in my career, being a young boy, going to a club like Wrexham under the guidance of Dennis Smith and obviously Kevin Russell was amazing for me, because I'd just come off the back of a loan which at Plymouth Argyle didn't really work out for me. New manager, as soon as I went there, the manager got sacked, so it wasn't a great start for my loan move. So Tony Pulis came in. All fair play to Tony Pulis. He likes a big, strong centre forward, which is no problem at all. So I decided to end my loan move, go back to Blackburn, and obviously Mark Hughes said to me, "Listen, we've got a great club here at Wrexham." Went down to see them, and the manager was fantastic, thrilled to have me through the door, gave me loads and loads of confidence, and told me I'll be playing every week, which was amazing.
Had a very varied career, Matt, both domestically and internationally. After you had your time at the racecourse, you went back to Blackburn and then onwards into Greek football with Olympiakos before coming back, spending time at Nottingham Forest, and then at today's opposition, Rotherham United, where a familiar man was in the dugout. Tell us about your time at Rotherham.
Again, another great club. Loved my time there. I went obviously I think I just left Nottingham Forest. Actually doing quite well for Nottingham Forest, towards the end of the season. That last season, really enjoyed it. Again, manager left. I think where a new manager was coming in, which happens in football. It's fine. And I remember straight away getting a call from my agent saying, Steve Evans wants you to come down today and go and have a chat with him. So I did. I went down to go and see Big Steve. As we know, Steve's done really, really well in club football. So I went down to see him, and to be honest with you, I thought I signed for Real Madrid. He was, a great talker, a great salesman. Got me in the door, wouldn't let me leave until I signed. And then obviously the rest was history. But I enjoyed my time at Rotherham. Really good club, great people. I visited Rotherham, I think 2 months ago, to watch a game there. They took me in. Hospitality was amazing, and made me feel welcome again.
Of course, gave you some experience of playing in the Championship. Matt, what were your recollections of the standard that Rotherham were at the time?
Yeah, I think obviously they'd just come up from League One, and our main target was to try and stay in the league. There's no hiding that from the fans or the players or whatever it might be. And we had a really, really good dressing room there. Everyone was, together. There was no bad eggs in the dressing room. It was a really, really, really good time in that first season. And luckily we managed to stay up, which was a massive achievement for the club at the time.
So 2 years at Rotherham, 69 appearances and 17 goals. And then another international move to the Cypriot League and the chance to join Ammonia Nicosia. Talk to us a little bit about how your experiences were of Cypriot football, Matt, and how they compared to your time at Olympiakos a few years earlier over in Greece.
Yeah, I mean, I love Cyprus. I go there every single summer. Obviously, when I signed for Cyprus, I was a bit, for Ammonia. Sorry, I was a bit like, I don't know about this, because it was, I think I turned 30 at the time, and I said to my agent, right, I'm going to go abroad and let's try and find a club there. And obviously, Ammonia Nicosia came in. I knew a little bit about them from a time in Greece. Obviously, a few players had gone from Olympiakos to in the latter years of their career. So I was a bit unsure about it, but I went there, and so glad I went. It's an amazing, amazing club. The fans are fantastic. fanatical fans. They love cheering on the players. The noise in the stadium. I would say to anyone, if you can get yourself out there and go and play there, it's a great experience, a really, really good experience, and one I'll always look back on very fondly with.
And later in your career, you also went out and played for a while in Australia. How was that?
Yeah, it was great. I loved Australia, mate. I mean, I think we always watch that programme. I think, where they turn the card, Australia or England, and our brother-in-law lives out there as well. So I was like, right, I went and visited him there, and I said, oh, this is amazing. I need to, get onto my agent. I want to come and play here. Again, getting on at the time as well. So I thought, right, why not? Got a phone call while I was there from Central Coast Mariners, actually. I went to go and see Monty there. Obviously, that didn't work out, and then obviously went back and signed for MacArthur FC, and it was everything I could have wished for, to be honest with you, for the kids, for the family, the life, the football. It was brilliant.
Well, Matt, thanks so much for joining us on Matchday Live today. Really interesting to catch up with you about such a varied career, and we wish you all the very best for your coaching endeavours going forward.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Appreciate it.
Former Rotherham and Wrexham striker Matt Derbyshire catch up with me this week as part of our Played for Both feature. Matt thoroughly enjoying his spell back in 2006 here in North Wales. We're building up to kick off for this afternoon's match against Rotherham United, and we've got the chance now to understand a little bit more about the Players' Trade Union, because Will Boyle, Wrexham defender, is alongside me, and Will has a really important role as a member of the PFA Players Board. Will, welcome to Matchday Live. Thank you for joining us today. I'd love to just learn a little bit more about the PFA as the trade union for footballers in the EFL and the Premier League, and how your role came about to be part of the Players Board.
Yep, so as you just explained there very nicely, it's the Players Union. Any professional player can apply. The board is made up of 2 players from League 2 all the way up to Premier League, 2 from the Women's Super League, and 3 ex-players. 2 from each league obviously get voted on. So me and Omar Beckles from Leyton Orient are the League 1 representatives. And it's something that I'm really, really pleased and honoured to have got the opportunity to be a part of, really.
What persuaded you to put yourself forward to do it, Will?
The PFA have helped me massively during my own career, supported me through an undergraduate degree with funding, etc. Got me on the road to doing that and self-development. There's numerous other courses that they've also helped me with. They've helped me support through my coaching badges, so I've used them avidly, and I know how important they've been for me. And for me, it was a thing where I wanted players to be aware of what's on offer, if I could spread the word to players as much as possible, and then also on behalf of players, let the PFA know what it's like in the dressing room currently. So yeah, that's the reason why.
And what would you say the big issues are for players in 2025 where the PFA can support them, Will?
I think it's very interesting being a League 1 representative and sitting on the board meetings and listening to issues that with regards to the top end, so the international players around the fixture scheduling, calendars, etc. is something that's probably not as relevant for us, but it's interesting learning about the knock-on effect that causes, how it filters down the leagues. It means to more fixtures for lower league teams, etc. So all of that stuff, really. I'm doing all right. So yeah, there's all sorts really that go on. So yeah, it's interesting learning about issues up and down the level and how the ecosystem of the game works.
I could see from having a little look at the PFA website, Will, that there's a lot of focus on neurodegeneration as an area of research in the PFA at the moment, in terms of the impact particularly of heading footballs and what that means for players. Is that something you've had any exposure to?
Yes, we had. There's been that's a workshop that trying to get into every club. I'm pretty sure most clubs have been covered. We had it at the back end of last season, and Jeff Astley, I think.
Yep.
I'm sure that's the right name. We had Jeff's daughter come in and present, and it was sort of really powerful, the message that she delivered, the research, the amount of time and sort of impact that she's managed to have in that area for us as current players and future players to come is going to be powerful, because it's a short career. You need your mind for the rest of your life, don't you? So it's really important, and that area is developing massively. Yeah.
Absolutely. It sounds a really interesting area, Will, for you to get involved with, and some really important issues for you to champion. Just turning matters back to today, Rotherham United in town. What did you take out of the game earlier in the season when we managed to get a 1-0 win over at the New York Stadium?
Yeah, it was a really tough game. Obviously, we scored really early on, and then from there, we weren't exactly hanging on, but Rotherham sort of took the ascendancy as such. But it was a sort of really resolute away performance, something that we're starting to show of late, like a lot more often, which is brilliant. Earlier in the season, maybe it was a bit more sporadic, but it was a tough game. They've got individuals who can hurt you, especially on the transition. The front three are really good for this level, and they often, at their place, they cheated, left them up the pitch, and then you end up defending 1v1 in big spaces, and it's difficult for defenders. So hopefully we can have a little bit more control today and limit them opportunities that they have, really.
Perfect. Well, Will, thank you so much for coming to join us. Really great work that you're doing with the PFA. We wish you well with that work with the Players Board ongoing, and we hope to welcome you back to Matchday Live very soon.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Will. Nice to see you today. Will Boyle, Wrexham defender and member of the PFA Players Board, joining us before today's match between Wrexham and Rotherham United. We are getting close to the players running out this afternoon. As ever, a cacophony of noise in the racecourse. Andy, Rotherham fans have come in good voice and in good numbers, but as you mentioned a little bit earlier in the show, an early Wrexham goal could really set the dynamic in the stands this afternoon for what follows.
Yeah, I don't even think it needs to be a goal. It just needs to be an action that is really on and sort of tackle. Yeah, just something really on the front foot. Let's put them back in their own half. Let's work from there, and I think that'll get the crowd on board, and then that'll hopefully take us through to a good result at the end of the game.
Interesting there, Mia, that Will was saying that the front three for Rotherham are probably a bit stronger than you'd normally expect at this level. So this defence of ours, which have been so solid this season, likely to get quite a workout.
Yeah, I think so. We obviously spoke about Nombe and Johnson Clark-Harris, but someone like Malik Wilkes as well. He's just so talented. He could drop into that sort of 10 role. It'll be interesting to see how they set up today. I think Steve Evans isn't shy of obviously changing it up in transition and things like that as well. But no, I expect a tough battle. But like Andy says, if we can start strong, get a good moment in there, get Elliot Lee on the ball, see if he can produce a little bit of magic again, I think this crowd will be right up for it. A massive opportunity to get another big 3 points today.
Will saying there that the victory at Rotherham early in the season, Wrexham hanging on a little bit, but he felt that on the road the team had got stronger and were more solid at seeing out victories. Certainly that's come in the last 4 games. That must surely help belief in the dressing room that whoever the opposition, home or away in this final quarter of the season, Wrexham are running out for a game likely to win it.
Yeah, well, we're just not giving the ball away like we were doing, or giving it them back as quickly as we were doing, I think, in this latter 4 games away. Northampton, we were in real control. Mansfield, we managed to keep the ball a little bit more away from home. We've had more possession, which has enabled us to just be a bit more comfortable in those games when we do get ahead, and it's so important. And like you say, that'll hold us in good stead, not just for our away games, but for being in control here for the games here.
Mia, just before we sign off and let you go and head on to commentary this afternoon, do you think this is a Wrexham team that are going to be able to get the ball wide early this afternoon? Will we see the wing-backs being crucial to some of the early thinking?
Yeah, I hope so. I think a number of times this season when we come up against sides, they change to a back 5 to almost sort of get rid of that space out wide where we are so threatening. So today I think another real opportunity for someone like Ryan Longman to show his quality, show his class, hopefully get some more assists.
Yeah, Longman preferred to Ryan Barnett on the right again this afternoon. Barnett has to wait on the bench. Still the man with the most number of assists in this division. Quite a weapon to bring on late in the game. If you haven't yet sorted your iFollow pass for this afternoon, head to wrexhamafc.co.uk/live. Andy Morell and Mia Roberts will be on commentary with Mark Griffiths. We'll be back here at half-time to discuss the first half. We'll also have the chance to catch up with Nick Hughes then on International Women's Day. The leader of MYCR, the Wrexham Female Supporters Group. We'll find out a lot more about what they're up to in the interval. Then we'll be back here again at full time with some reaction from the Wrexham camp. Here we go then. Final quarter of the season starts right here. Wrexham against Rotherham United. We'll see you back here on YouTube to see how the first 45 has gone very soon. Bye for now.
Cheers, mate.
Mae pedwar swyddog yn un o'r gynulleidfa sylw i munud o chwarae o'r board officials indicated there will be a minimum of 1 minute and in time 1 minute.
Thank you.
Bydd y gêm nesaf o'r stwc Caeras ar yr araf yn cael lawr yn erbyn Stockport gyda digon traf am 3 o'r A reminder the next home game here at Stoke Caeras is on March 22nd when Stockport are visitors for our Sky Betting One match which will kick off at 3 PM. Tickets are on sale now and they're available via our ticketing website. Bydd merched Wrexham yn chwarae cartre nesaf yn erbyn Rotherham at Sawel ar y 30 o Fawr. Wrexham AFC women's next home game is on March 30th.
Let's go.
Match tickets will be available via our ticketing.
Half-time here at the Stoke Caeras. It's Wrexham 0, Rotherham United 0. It's been a fairly lively opening 45 minutes. Rotherham starting on the front foot. Rotherham very much in the ascendancy for the first 20 minutes or so as Wrexham struggled to find any sort of fluency. But as the half wore on, Phil Parkinson's side starting to come into it more and creating some opportunities. Matty James coming closest to breaking the deadlock with a rasping half volley on the drive just a minute or two before half time, which Dylan Phillips pushed behind for a corner. Sam Smith also spurning a good opportunity after Ryan Longman had played him in on the break, but he wasn't able to get it past Phillips. His shot had plenty of power but was straight at the Rotherham keeper. At the other end, Arthur Okonkwo had to be at his very best in the 38th minute. Malik Wilkes looked for all money like he was going to open the scoring with a point-blank range header, but Okonkwo made a quite brilliant save. That is the furthest he was extended in the first half, but the Rotherham front three have certainly looked a threat and have worked the Wrexham defence hard. Mia Roberts and Andy Morell alongside me have been on co-coms for the first half. Mia, how did you see it?
Yeah, I think quite scrappy. Immediately you can see the type of game that Rotherham have been set out to play, and Phillips, the amount of time he's kept hold of that ball and really tried to kill some minutes, and only one added minute. I think it worked really well in Rotherham's favour. But Wrexham have had chances for some real good opportunities. I think Longman hasn't quite shown his quality in getting some of the opportunities. He's had to put the ball into the box. He's got a few wrong, but that Sam Smith opportunity for me was the big one. I think he's just maybe not spotted the Doffin who's just tumbled in front of him and has a bit more time. Could he take a touch and just fires it straight at the keeper? The sort of sign of a striker who's not in form with the goals.
I thought that, Mia, as well. He really lashed at it, didn't he, when he had a little bit more time and could have taken it with a bit more finesse, perhaps.
But then I think his overall game, apart from that as well, has been real good quality. I think he's, I spoke a bit about it on comms. I think sometimes the service we're putting into strikers, it makes it so difficult for them to do their jobs. And just a few times he's been played into feet, which we don't do enough for me. He's done really well. So if we can try and do that a bit more in the second half, I think we'll get some more joy.
Andy?
Yeah, I think we've had the better opportunities. Obviously a brilliant save by Okonkwo on the one that they did have, but we've had more play, we've had more. It's just that final ball's just not been quite bang on yet, and that's what we're searching for really. Revan's had half the pitch to himself. He could be anything today if he wanted to be, but he's got to, when Lee gets the ball, he has to, we were just talking about them, he's got to bust the gut to get past him, because he's a free man, and any ball that's bouncing, we can just hook it out that way. He's got frees, he can take the ball out of the pitch and he can cause mayhem up at that top end of the pitch. He's just got to get there and keep doing it, and then that one bit of quality that we need to score, or that cross that we need to put it on a plate for one of our strikers.
Joe Powell, I think, pulling a lot of the strings for Rotherham in the middle there, number 7, Mia.
Yeah, he's looked very technically good, and I think he's someone we need to try and make sure he doesn't get on the ball. But they've looked threatening on the transition. That's something we've got to be careful of. Obviously, we need our own players to bomb forward, like we were talking about with the likes of Revan and Longman, but equally need them to get back. And I think that's something maybe Revan's been a bit too cautious of in that first half in terms of his defensive and attacking balance. But if he can push forward, I totally agree with Andy. I think there's a bit of tension every time Lee gets on the ball in terms of the atmosphere, that he needs to play that ball sooner. But the likelihood of him playing that to an empty space, it's not worthwhile. He needs Revan to make that run and give the percentages a higher opportunity.
Andy, what would you be changing if you were Phil Parkinson right now, or nothing?
No, I don't think there's anything. We've just got to deal with the first ball, make sure we pick up that second ball. That's what their game plan is. It's play to the front three and hope that they can get something out of it. If we can deal with that threat, then when we make a pass, if we can get the ball and make a pass when we get it back, then I think Rathbone can pull the strings. I think Longman, we can get him up the pitch, because we've looked like we can break at any point when we do get that transition and really cause them problems, and it's that final pass. Can we make that final pass? And that's what I'd be stressing in the changing room.
Andy Meir, thank you very much for now. As we were discussing at the top of the programme pre-kickoff, today is International Women's Day. I had the chance this week to catch up with the chair of Merhed Kairas, Daughters of the Racecourse, the female supporters group, and I had that opportunity to talk about what they're all about with their chair, Nick Hughes.
Thank you very much for having me on today. So we set up Merhed Kairas in October 2023 off the back of I joined her game 2 around the beginning of the year and realised what an amazing community it was to have, like, fellow female football fans to kind of chat to, and thought I kind of wanted that, but from like a Wrexham perspective. So in the summer I sent out a tweet that kind of just said, who wants to join in, who wants to be in a female only WhatsApp group. Would like overwhelming interest in it. And I think we had about 100 people join the WhatsApp group. And then from there, a couple of the ladies were like, oh, well, do we fancy making this into like a more official and do like a proper supporters group for the club? And yeah, basically it kind of grew from there. So we launched October 2023. The aims that we kind of set out were to like bring supporters together, particularly female supporters, to support the club, create like a safe environment for supporters to talk about the club and learn about like football, and also to kind of facilitate and support female supporters going to matches, home and away. So yeah, they were our main aims kind of when we launched.
And what's the mix in the membership, Nick, between locally based Wrexham fans and our international female supporters?
So we've got more than 50 members now. I think we're around about 55 members. It's potentially almost 50-50, maybe more heavier towards the like UK based supporters, but we've certainly got a really extensive international kind of contingent to our group as well.
I know you're also an ambassador for the Her Game 2 movement. Could you just tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Her Game 2 was launched in 2021 by a group of supporters based in Bristol. And they, again, kind of just wanted to they noticed like misogyny and sexism within football, for particularly at the time for like going to football for football supporters. And they basically decided they wanted to kind of do something about it. Started Her Game 2, and that's kind of grown to not just around, we have a reporting system for sexism and misogyny during matches, but we also, a big aim of the group is to encourage female participation in football, particularly like grassroots teams. And the aim is that our kind of overarching aim is that every single EFL football club will have a Her Game 2 ambassador. We've got lots of grassroots partners. We've got lots of like the non-league teams. Our first aim is to get the 92 to kind of partner with us, and I think we're at about 75, so we're really on our way to getting there. But at the same time, kind of like fundraising to support grassroots football. And in particular, I'm the Wrexham advocate, and Chelsea's our Wrexham ambassador. So she works with the club with the Her Game 2 relationship. And then I'm also ambassador for Her Game 2 Cymru and look after the grassroots partnership. So it's a really important group. It does a lot of work, across the kind of football scope. And it's even branched out into other like male dominated sports like rugby, cricket and ice hockey as well. So it's getting bigger.
Plenty of momentum then, Nick. Great to hear. And just finally, if somebody wanted to join up Merhed Kairas, how would they go about doing so, and what could they expect from being a member?
So we're on all the social medias, so just come and find us. We're Merhed Kairas on all of them. We've got a Facebook page, so just come and drop us a message, or you can email us at merhedakairas@gmail.com. Drop us a message, we'll send you everything you need to join. What you can expect from us is hopefully a very supportive community. If you want to, if you've been a supporter for decades, if you're brand new, if you're kind of in the middle, everybody's welcome. We have a WhatsApp group that you can join, and it's really supportive, and it's fantastic, I think, particularly during matches. So if you're watching at home, like I'll leave a match and I've got about 500 unread messages in the WhatsApp group, because the ladies that are watching from home are just kind of going back and forth with what's happening on the pitch. We also have monthly supporters meetings, and we've had some fantastic guests this season. We've had Mia, as you know, we've had like Humphrey came to visit us, we've had Neil Roberts came, we had Rich from Rob Bryan Red, so like a real, some fantastic guests. And then, as I said before, our pre-match meetup. So if you're a little bit nervous about maybe going to your first match, or you just want a bit of a social before the game, then we do those meetups as well. And also we try and support people with travelling away. So in our WhatsApp group, we'll kind of share information about who's going to what away game. So either like a car share or just meeting when you get there, because it is a little bit nervy, I think, going to your first away game if you're going on your own. And then with the international supporters, when they come over, we love to meet them. And, they'll come to our pre-match meetups. But, if you want, a little tour of the city or anything like that, or you want a bit of help with where to stay or things to go and see. And again, if you're travelling on your own and you're coming over, then, you can let us know and we'll support you.
Nick Hughes, the chair of NYCR, telling us all about their activities. Great to catch up with her, and please go and find out more by checking out their social media handles. Players are coming out for the second half, as you can probably see around me. We'll be back in 45 minutes to review this one at full time. Currently it's Wrexham 0, Rotherham United 0. We'll see you in just over 45 minutes.
replaced by number 26, Stephen Fletcher. Midfield number 38, Ariel Lee. Replaced by number 7, James McLean. Substitution for Rotherham, leaving the field number 9, Johnson Clark Harris. He's been replaced by number 28, Joshua Coyote. And leaving the field number 15, Louis Sibley. Replaced by number 11, Andre Green. Substitution for Wrexham leaving the field, number 20, Ollie Rambo. Replaced by number 12, George Evans. Voting is open for your Wrexham AFC man of the match. Cast your vote on the official club website. Wrexham leading the field, number 28, Sam Smith. Rotherham. Hitting the field number 12, Matt Derbyshire. He's being replaced by number 23, Jack Holmes. And hitting the field number 7, Joe Powell. He's being replaced by number 2, Joe Rafferty. Gladys sydd wedi dynodi gyda'r lleol syml 6 munud o chwanegol. The board officials indicated there will be a minimum of 6 minutes, adding time to 6 minutes. Maent y gol hefyd ar y stwff Caeras, 13 guidance at Aberdeen. The official attendance of the stwff Caeras, 13,245. Our total counts for the 1,267 away fans. We hope you have a safe journey home. A massive thanks to Andy and John for their help with the meeting this afternoon, and we'll see you again on March 22nd. No sweat!
Full time here at the Stoke Kairas, and for the first time since the 4th of January, Wrexham win at home in the league. Sam Smith's 47th minute goal, the difference between the two sides. It's a win for Wrexham that takes them up to joint second in the League One table. Wycombe Wanderers only retaining the advantage on goal difference after a very solid second half performance, firmly shut the door on Rotherham United, and Smith's cool finish from Rodriguez's perfect flick on was the difference between the sides. Late on, Jack Holmes had a free header in injury time for Rotherham, which on another day I'm sure he could have put goalwards. It went wide, but otherwise Arthur Okonkwo was a spectator for much of the second half. Smith's quality and his second goal in 7 games for Wrexham, ultimately proving the difference and enabling Phil Parkinson's side to back up their win at Huddersfield with another priceless 3 points at home. Mia Roberts and Andy Morell have been presiding over that one. Andy, did Wrexham do enough to win that?
Yeah, I think so. They defended brilliantly. I think the back three were sensational today. They really dug in because they were bombarded pretty much in that second half with balls from all over the place, and they headed the majority of things out, and when they didn't get first contact they got second contact, and then when they needed to they put bodies on the line and blocked it, and so I think they were fantastic. Any of them could have got man of the match for me. I think Smith's got it. It's not surprising because I thought he was brilliant as well, but yeah, they were so important today.
Mia, Smith's work rate across the pitch, his hold-up play brought a lot to the game, but crucially, unlike in the first half and that chance that he wasn't able to take, in the second he showed all his class in keeping cool with that finish.
Yeah, I'm absolutely delighted for him, and he did look just so composed in that moment as well, and I think it's something we can really take going forward, obviously, as well. Jay Rodriguez with the assist, brilliant header.
If Carlsberg did flick-ons, I mean, well, I don't think he could have put that, if he'd thrown 20-50p's on the floor, he couldn't have put that in a more perfect place between the two centre-backs.
No, absolutely. I said on comms, I think that's his birthday present to Sam Smith sorted for this year anyway. But no, brilliant, and hopefully that's the start of a really strong strike partnership now going into the last 11 games.
Other lager beers are available, of course.
Yeah, he does so well with it though. He's so calm when it's bouncing because he's looking and waiting for the keeper to come or do something, and he's waiting, and then as eventually the keeper comes, and as it just slides it underneath the legs of the keeper because he didn't have a lot to aim at. Just a really cool finish.
Interesting, Mia, I thought Phil Parkinson moving a little bit earlier than he normally does in the second half with his substitutions, bringing James McLean on left of the midfield three, and then George Evans shortly after right of the midfield three, with Lee and Rathbone making way. I thought it was interesting that probably from what we can see, I know Lee's not had that many minutes since his injury, but they were early tactical changes having got the lead to ensure it stayed that way.
Yeah, and I think the Ollie Rathbone one is probably, well, hopefully nothing serious. I think it was more of a precautionary one from the looks of it, but obviously not one he would have been planning on making. I think the Elliot Lee one, obviously, like you say, still coming back from that little sort of off period really, and we said it a bit on comms, just didn't look fully himself, I think, today yet, and just isn't obviously 100% ready, but that'll come, and I think being able to bring on the likes of James McLean and George Evans isn't a bad sort of substitute really, is it? So they came on, and listen, I don't think we got the control we would have wanted to, but like Andy says, those back three for me today were absolutely immense. Particularly I thought Owen O'Connell was just superb, just did his job and more.
Yeah, late in injury time, there was a tackle by James McLean in front of the Mould Road stand where he kind of appeared in the more traditional left-back position, and it was the absolutely perfectly executed sliding tackle, and the Mould Road stand kind of raised as one with a standing ovation to applaud. It's moments like that, isn't it, that can galvanise a team with a crowd, and you look back on at the end of the season and say that was about shutting out Rotherham and making sure that next cross didn't come in.
It's absolutely moments like that. Andy touched on it before the game. You want one of those moments early on
doors,
in the game to make the away fans go a bit quieter, lift the home fans a bit more, and I think it's tackles like that, especially late on in games, that make you go, you know what, your shoulders sort of go up, heads go up, and you think, actually, we can defend this lead, we are going to keep a clean sheet, and it's
whatever
that confidence.
It takes.
Absolutely, and it just lifts people, and I think that's certainly a perfect example.
No goal for Jay Rodriguez today, Andy, but that flick on and being the creator for the Smith goal, that must give him a hike in confidence coming off.
Yeah, well, Elliot Lee went straight over to him, and then Smith, you've seen him stood taking the adulation, if you like, of the fans, but then straight away switches over to him, he goes, and I think they're looking for that relationship from those two, and that will just epitomise what those two will hopefully bring to the team in the next 11 games, is a little bit of togetherness, a little bit of guile, a little bit of clever play, but Smith reads it so well. Jay Rodriguez gets a great flick on it, doesn't he, and then the finish is great, and Fletcher nearly does the same for Smith later on, and it just falls on Smith's right and he doesn't quite catch it right, but that's a little dangerous tactic that we've got good players up the top end of the pitch, and hopefully that relationship will just grow and grow.
It's rarely comfortable, Mia, is it? I think we'd have to go back probably to sort of September time and the odd game that was won 3-0, but ultimately Wrexham are finding a way more often than not, and this has been a first home win in 5, 2 draws, 2 losses. It had become difficult. There have been teams like Stevenage and Leyton Orient who'd come here and found a way to win, but as we now go into this final quarter of the season, I think psychologically so important for the team to think, yeah, we're back to winning ways at home, we've found a way to win at home, because first 20 minutes Rotherham pressed Wrexham hard and it was very difficult for Wrexham to get out.
Yeah, it's absolutely massive. I think there's so many things that we can take out of today, that so many positives and big positives obviously, but I absolutely agree. I think the more we can make this place the fortress it has been for the last few seasons, the absolute better going into the run in now, because you've got some really big games coming up now, especially I think Wickham was scored 1-1 I think as we last left it. Is that how it finished? So it puts us in an unbelievable position now, going into the next few games.
It certainly does. I know Phil Parkinson is quickly out of the dressing room. Great to have Phil joining us so quickly. Phil, congratulations. How did you digest that one?
Well, it was almost how we expected it. Rotherham make it a second ball kind of scrappy game, and the moments of quality were few and far between, but I felt in the first half when we did pass it and switched it, we got in some great positions, couldn't find the moment, and finally we got it early in the second half. Great header by Jay and a brilliant finish by Sam, but I thought the kind of concentration level with the boys today was outstanding in terms of winning first contacts in and around the seconds all over the pitch, and we never got bored with doing that ugly side of the game, and that was so important today. And then you look at our goal where Jay's won a header and the lad hasn't quite covered round. That's the difference in the two teams today. We stuck at our job in a difficult game against a strong team, and that's a really good 3 points for us today.
Second half, I hardly wrote down on my sheet a Rotherham chance. You really managed to withstand all the balls that were coming in the back three, mopping up everything, but the supply lines that Rotherham were getting through in the first half, particularly the first 20 minutes, very much dried up after the interval. What did you change?
They started quick, didn't they? They kind of put the ball on you and play for second balls, and kind of it's hard to get out. It's hard to get out, and I just think that in the second half that we just spoke about, make sure we're in the right positions for the second balls, make sure the strikers, when it got cleared, got the bodies in like Sam and Jay did brilliantly second half to give us a bit of a platform. But it's just about sticking to the job in hand and not getting frustrated with the type of game it was, because it was always going to be like that. So pleased with the lads today. just defensively we were really good, apart from that one header in the first half where Arthur's made an outstanding save.
I was just going to ask you about that, Phil, because that looked like Arthur back to his very best. An outstanding piece of goalkeeping.
Yeah, it was a brilliant save, and he pulled off a save against Bolton close to the end, which was top class, absolute top class. And that one today, it was the one moment, I said to the lads at half time, I was disappointed in that moment because Powell burst through us, and I think we got after him quick enough, and we know he's got a great quality with his crossing, but when Arthur's called upon, absolutely brilliant.
You talked previously to me when we'd spoken before that you felt Jay Rodriguez and Sam Smith were combining ever better, but this afternoon we really saw it tangibly with a near perfect flick on and then a really cool finish. As a manager, how much satisfaction does that give you to see a front two combine like that and result in a goal?
Yeah, I think when you bring players in, obviously it always takes a bit of time in terms of settling into the club. But also we work on the training ground and those two linking up, but obviously there's a lot of games at the moment, so they're almost developing it in the games as well. But the work for the team, both of them, is outstanding. Honestly, it's outstanding. Sometimes it goes unnoticed a little bit from people in the stands. They don't really how hard they work to close the spaces with intelligence as well. They did it brilliantly at Huddersfield the other night. They've done it great tonight, and that's why we've restricted a team to very little again.
You made a couple of changes a little bit earlier than you sometimes do in the second half in bringing on George Evans and James McLean. Were they both tactical related choices?
Well, the first two were Fletcher and Jimmy, weren't they? Right now, obviously Fletcher, I just felt Jay's played Tuesday and again today, and needed his experience and quality up there, and Elliot hasn't started a game for a while as well, and it was a tough game in hot conditions, and I just felt we needed Jimmy's athleticism in there. And then obviously Ollie Rathbone's gone down with cramp, and we could see he was tired. He's given us so much again, and George Evans came on and gave us a nice bit of calmness in there, which we needed at that time.
Felt a really electric atmosphere, I thought, inside the stadium today, Phil. Did you feel that on the bench too? Yeah,
it's brilliant. The support was outstanding, and it's just great when this place is rocking, and I always say it, and it's not a throwaway comment. The supporters have played the part today to help us get over the line. It's so key for us. And I think sometimes when you make changes and you bring players in, there's a different feel to the team, and the fans are almost getting used to that. But the last couple of games, the Bolton game, I thought we were very good in the way I played, and today in a different type of game, we've stuck to our job really well.
Up to joint second now, almost second on our own, but a late Wickham penalty getting them a point at Peterborough. Does that give you a further lift in the dressing room?
Yeah, we didn't mention it because I didn't know the scores would have gone in there, but of course it helps. Yeah, and we've got a brilliant week this week. We've got down at Reading Tuesday, another fantastic stage for us to play on, and that'll be a terrific game, and I can't wait for that.
As a member of the the Reading Hall of Fame from your playing days, is it always particularly special for you to go back to the MATCHDAY?
Yeah, of course. I spent 11 years there. My 3 kids were all born in the area, and I've got some great friends there. Ex-teammates, some of them still working in the club, some work in the media, but more importantly I've got some brilliant friends I'm looking forward to seeing. They all come up here, the supporters and the southern away games to Wrexham anyway, but it'll be nice to touch base with everybody. But our focus is purely now, can we go and get a 5th away win on the trot?
Perfect. Well, here's hoping for Tuesday that we can. Thank you, Phil, very much indeed. Phil Parkinson, Wrexham manager, delighted as well he might be on another 3 points at home. Let's have a little look at the other scores around League One today and see what's been happening elsewhere, and of course where that leaves things with the League One table. 2 lunchtime kickoffs we talked about earlier. Crawley drawing with Reading and Stockport drawing with Charlton. Blackpool winning 3-0 at Barnsley. Birmingham back to winning ways against Lincoln. They still look far and away the absolute nap to win the league. Bristol Rovers beating Huddersfield, who continue to struggle to even score, let alone pick up points, losing out in the southwest by 1-0 Michael Duff's side. Burton Albion losing at home to informed Bolton Wanderers, who are on the move. It's looking bleak for Shrewsbury at the bottom. They're beaten 2-0 down at Exeter. Orient's bad run continues as they lose at home to struggling Northampton. Peterborough and Wickham, we know, finished all square. Stevenage and Mansfield, the same outcome. Mansfield drawing their away from relegation trouble, and Wigan beating struggling Cambridge United. Andy Morell, any quick score jump off the page to you there before we have a look at the table?
Well, it's a good day, I think, for us. Orient getting beat. Obviously Birmingham just the ones winning, Wickham drawing, Stockport drawing. Reading drawing, Charlton drawing. They're all, nobody's won up there apart from Birmingham. So, and again, it's been another brilliant day. And I've said it before, it's going to be like this right through to the last game of the season. We're going to have days where we feel like we're not going to get that spot, and we're going to feel like today, like it's in our hands to go and do it. But let's take it for now, and let's just keep winning.
Let's have a look at how that leaves things then. Wrexham, of course, were just a moment in Cambridgeshire away from standing in second spot this evening. Richard Kone's late penalty rescuing a point for Wycombe Wanderers. It couldn't be set up more perfectly, could it, for the key match next Saturday, which of course we will be covering on Matchday Live. So join us then at Adams Park, because it's Wycombe against Wrexham next Saturday, and going into that match, of course, there is midweek football to be played. Wrexham at Reading, as Phil was mentioning, but as it stands, both teams played 35, point 68, toe to toe in pursuit of that second spot. And as Andy says, a little bit of a gap opening up behind Wrexham now, with Stockport and Charlton a little further back. Mia, a quick reflection on the table?
Yeah, just echo what Andy says. Really, just another really positive day, and like you say, just that gap between us and the chasing pack, really, in Stockport, Charlton, Bolton, Huddersfield, and Reading and Orient. The list sort of goes on and on at the moment. But no, a really positive result, and obviously, we've got that game on Tuesday night now. That's massive, but that one on a week today against Wycombe, it just gets bigger and bigger, doesn't it? It's a really exciting one that sort of waters the mouth.
It does indeed. It's all going to be on that trip to the Adams Park Stadium next Saturday, and we've got the opportunity now to capture the thoughts of Wrexham's Chief Executive Officer Michael Williamson, who has joined us on Matchday Live. Michael, thank you so much for joining us post-match today. You must be delighted with that win.
Yeah, thank you. Great 3 points. Makes for next week and a really interesting match, no?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Hopefully, we're sitting tied at 68 points right now, and let's see. Next week it's going to be a big one.
11 games to go. Are you feeling confident?
Yeah, listen, I give our guys an opportunity, as long as we're in the mix here at the end, the last run of it, with the confidence we have in the squad and depth we have, and with Phil, in the captain's chair. Listen, we're going to have a real good chance here.
It's the first time we've had the chance for you to join us on Matchday Live, Michael. There's a couple of specific things we'll come on to in a second, but first of all, how have you found your time at the club so far?
Oh, listen, it's been fantastic. It's been a whirlwind. I've been running non-stop, lots to do, but the community, the people, the staff here have been welcoming, for myself, for my family from day one. It's been a real pleasure, and to work for a club like this is just an honour.
You've come from, of course, some very different football experience, particularly in the United States, but also at Inter Milan. Has Wrexham felt fundamentally different for you than the clubs you've been at previously?
Listen, it's really unique because I've been at all spectrums of football. So I've been at the grassroots level, a community-based football organization. I've been at a Champions League club with a top 10, top 5 brand of football in European football. Across the board, it's just really interesting because there's a blend and there's little pieces of the entire spectrum here at Wrexham. We're a global brand, but we are also rooted in the community. We're a community-based football organization, and honestly, it's just something that it's been exciting to be part of, because there's nothing else like this in sports and in football right now.
And it's been an epic week for the club this week, with the planning permission being granted on Monday from Wrexham Borough Council to go ahead with the COP. How do you feel now about the project that lies ahead?
Listen, it's really exciting. Obviously, want to thank the support of the Gateway Partnership, as well as the entire council and the planning committee, along with all of our partners who have really helped us get across this last 6 months, I would say, of really planning for the redesign of the COP. Obviously, we had planning permission for 5,500 seats originally, but given the success that we've had on the pitch, as well as all of our success off the pitch, we took a look at it again and refreshed our ideas of how we could approach this to be something that is rooted in the community, obviously active on match days, but also non-match days, something that could be used 365 days a year. And with that, we brought in Populace and honestly did something that I think was iconic. We only get one chance to build the COP. It's the only area within the stadium that we're going to be able to start from scratch and build from the ground up. So we really wanted to make it something special, and I think that's what we're delivering. So the planning application approval is just fantastic. It's just the next step. We will have to submit an initial planning application for an extra 2,000 seats because we want to quickly be able to go from 5,500 to 7,500, which I believe will put us around 18,000 here at the race course, and I think that's kind of a good place for us to start off with phase 1.
And just talk to us now, Michael, that we've got the planning permission agreed on what the next steps are and what people might see physically happening.
Yeah, so as soon as our last match on the pitch here, and we don't
know when that is yet.
We don't know when that is yet. Hopefully, we get the automatic promotion, and that would be fantastic for a lot of reasons.
Yes, time being one of them.
Time being one of them, but obviously, it depends. Obviously, if we're in the playoffs or not. But as soon as our last match is finished on the pitch, we're going to be starting the pitch works. So we have basically what we call summer works and then cop works. And over the summer, we're going to replace the pitch. We're going to put in a hybrid stitch pitch with new drainage system, underground heating. So it's going to be something that's going to be more durable. It's something that, listen, your top clubs in Europe have this, right? We'll be able to have more matches. It'll be more durable. Obviously, you can see now that the pitch has been great, but we have credit to all of the groundskeepers out here who have been working really, really hard, these last several weeks to try to keep this in great condition. But honestly, what's going to happen is when we have, we had a Sweden versus Wales women's national team match here, and then the very next day we played obviously semi-final against Peterborough. That's the type of pressure on a pitch that over time could make it a little bit difficult with the stitch pitch, with the underground heating system. And with the proper drainage system, we're going to be able to play a lot more events and matches here, which is fantastic. And then once we have that finished, obviously, then we'll be able to start to, after the end of the match, we'll take down the temporary cop, and then we'll start the works towards the end of the summer and beginning of next season. You'll start to see works going on with the cop itself.
Fantastic. So much exciting work to look forward to and to see the change appear in front of us, Michael. But of course, you've already made progress at Darlan School with the academy. How are things going with that project?
No, it's great. Listen, it's a multi-million pound investment, but it's something that's been great because there's investment in infrastructure and facilities. We have obviously offices. We have dressing rooms out there. We've built pitches out there. The high school's been a fantastic partner. But more importantly, we've been investing a lot of the off-the-pitch areas as well. So we have a head of player services there. We have a head of education. We've been investing in safeguarding, nutritionist, literally everything that you could imagine. We recently had an audit completed. We haven't received the report back on that, but for Category 3, the informal reports that we've received and feedback has been very positive. We've gone up to 60 part-time and full-time staff in the academy now.
Goodness.
Which, if you look back about 12 months ago, it was around, I think, 12 or 18, and now we're at 60. And 131 players.
Wow.
Registered.
Goodness.
Which is amazing. And you see players like Harry Ashfield, who are breaking through to the first team, getting opportunities out here. Aaron James, obviously Max. I mean, you see some of that. And you think about the fact that now we have a full-on Category 3, U9s, all the way up to U19s program right now. Listen, the talent is in this area. And that, when we talk about future-proofing, we talked about future-proofing of the COP, the stadium, and investing in infrastructure. This is really, the academy is future-proofing for this club. It is the sustainability factor for this club. Having a pipeline of players that are coming up through our youth system will help make this club successful for decades to come. So it's very, very exciting.
Fantastic. Well, Michael, that's great to hear. Really good to hear such a local footprint being built with the academy. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to hopefully catching up with you on Matchday Live later in the season.
You guys are going to be there next weekend, right?
We're going to be at Wickham next week, so you're going to be watching us, I think, from afar. Is that right?
Yes. So somehow I got convinced to run into a half marathon with Humphrey and some other members of staff here. Jamie Edwards from our head of community. Let's see.
We wish you luck, Michael.
My goal is just to beat Humphrey. That's it. If I can do that, then we're good.
Bragging rights.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Thank you guys. You do a great job. I love this.
We wish you well.
And
thank you.
Thank you again for having me on.
Really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Michael Williamson, the Wrexham Chief Executive Officer, joining us
Brilliant.
at full-time here on Matchday Live, and straight coming into the interviewing studio, Sam Smith. Sam, really good to see you. Thank you very much for joining us and being patient there as we caught up with Michael. Well, congratulations on your goal this afternoon and on the win. That must have felt pretty special as you flicked that one into the net.
Yeah, incredible feeling. One I won't forget for a long time. First at the stadium and a massive 3 points, so looking forward to Tuesday now.
I'm sure you've had plenty of flick-ons to run onto in your career. Have you ever had one more perfectly placed than that one from Jay Rodriguez between the two centre-backs there?
To be fair, I've only played as a front two, not a lot, so it's nice to play with someone up there and not be so isolated. So it was a perfect flick, and I just had to wait for the ball to settle and just poke it under the keeper. But it was an unreal feeling, and yeah, a massive 3 points.
You mentioned the moment of scoring at home for the first time. Is that something that you visualise as a striker and that you've been kind of hoping was going to come this afternoon as you've been warming up today?
I think so, yeah. I think you gain confidence in what you do out through the week and your preparation and your training. So I always go out thinking I want to work hard for the team, and hopefully goals come with that. So to get one today, my birthday, is a special feeling.
Oh, your birthday as well.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Goodness me, what a great moment to celebrate. You got plans for tonight? I hope so.
Just going for food with my mum and dad and my girlfriend.
Oh, that sounds quite restrained. Excellent. How are you getting on with Jay then on and off the pitch? Because as a new combination coming into the club together, it must be something that you feel you've got to move kind of at fast forward to get that
it's difficult.
chemistry.
It's difficult coming in halfway through the season, especially with so many good strikers already here. You don't have the luxury of gaining relationships over time and working on training. So every training session, every game, you have to basically speed the process up. So I've been for dinner with Jay a few times. He's an incredible person and a great footballer. So I just try and learn off him and try and see what works and what he likes to do, and also what I like to do. So hopefully as the games come and the training sessions come, we can build that relationship.
How different has Wrexham felt to you as a club compared to Reading?
It's completely different. I think I've come from one of the youngest squads to one of the oldest squads, so that's a massive environment change. Being back up north is different, and living out the hotel is difficult. So I think moving in January it's hard for anyone. But I just got to keep working hard for the team, and hope performances follow.
How did today's game feel to you compared to your previous 6 appearances in League One for the club?
I think I got a lot more success today. Running in behind, competing in the air, trying to link play. Rotherham were a difficult team, a direct team. We had a game plan and we stuck to it, and we've come out on top. So, yeah.
How close do you feel you are now to bringing the full Sam Smith to the Wrexham party in terms of understanding the systems here, the people here, the whole ethos of the club?
I think it's slowly coming. Like I said, it's so difficult with coming halfway through the season, but I've been watching a lot of previous games, a lot of individual clips from certain players, and just trying to speed that process up, and hopefully the performances will come. As long as I keep working hard for the team and doing a job, then that's all I can control, really.
I'm sure you're taking it game by game, Sam, but 11 games left now, up to joint second with the result at Wycombe today, with them drawing at Peterborough. How much do your eyes go towards the possibility of second place from this point forward?
I think all we can do is just focus on the next game, and that's Reading away on Tuesday night. It's a difficult league, and we know that teams can go on runs and you can build momentum, so we want to try and be one of them teams that build the momentum now and go into the last 11 games confident and playing well. We can't really focus on the other teams, and we'll just take it game by game.
How do you feel about going back to Reading on Tuesday?
It's going to be weird. It's a club that I have a lot of love for. They're going through it at the moment with the ownership, and it'll be nice to see some familiar faces, and yeah, it'll be an interesting night.
I'm sure that's the right word to use. Well, Sam, thank you so much for joining us post-match today. Congrats on the goal.
Thank you.
A very happy birthday.
Thank you.
And we wish you well against your former club on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Sam Smith, Wrexham striker and goal scorer this afternoon in today's victory over Rotherham United. His second for the club, as he benefited from Jay Rodriguez's clever flick on to finish beyond Dylan Phillips. Happy birthday to Sam, Mia. Who knew?
Yeah, I think we did mention it.
We did mention it in commentary, yeah. So we did do our research.
Some people. but no, I'm honestly delighted for him. I think that's 2 for Wrexham now, and I think another real strong performance. All round performance, not just his final bit. And it's really pleasing. I think he speaks well about obviously coming in, and it's always difficult for players I think in January coming in that little bit later, and especially I think there was a lot of pressure for Wrexham to go out and get strikers, and we needed goals, so they haven't come in just with they've come in with a lot of expectancy on their shoulders, at the pair of them as well, and I think he obviously discusses that, not having previously played in a strike partnership too much either, which is another thing to take into account. So no, I think so many positives to take from today in regards to Sam, and yeah, hopefully he can get one against his former on Tuesday night.
He could cheer up a bit though. I think, you know what I mean? He's just scored at home. Yeah, I think maybe inside he's just absolutely buzzing. To get your first goal in front of these fans, and these fans were brilliant today, by the way. Right at the end, that last 10 minutes, they started to go, and they started. And I've got that feel, that buzz again, that they are right behind this team, and we maybe lost that little bit at home over the past couple because we weren't performing as they had expected. But that's come back, I think, and good on it, because it needed to be.
Absolutely. Phil, obviously delighted with the win, as you would expect. Mia, first time, of course, his side have won here in 2 months, but his experience will really come through now, won't it, in the last 11 games of the season, in just keeping that balance between excitement and taking every game as it comes, but also being very studious week by week with his selections, because he's got to ensure that the key players aren't overplayed. He's got a big squad to work with. He'll obviously have his first choice 11, bearing in mind everything is equal, but making the right choices at the right times now. This is when becoming the right decision is the key thing.
Yeah, and he's done it numerous times in his career, and not just here at Wrexham even. So no, he knows exactly what he's doing, and yeah, I think the next few weeks could be really interesting. I think we've got obviously the Tuesday night on against Reading, and then I think we've got the week after that off, isn't it, between the
then it's Stockport,
Wickham and Stockport game. So that's a good little week there where you can get on the training pitch and get some rest in some of them legs that have been going a few Saturday Tuesdays quite frequently. So that'll be obviously very good for the squad. But yeah, it'll be really interesting now going into the sort of approaching that last 10, and then it's going to go so quickly, I think, and that's something that's going to be really interesting to watch. And I totally agree with Andy. I think there's going to be points lost for us, and obviously those around us. It's just who can obviously at the end of the day pick up the most.
Andy, take us on to the Wickham bus travelling back from Peterborough as they look at the table now. Are they going to be sweating a little bit more to think that gap that was 5 points and looking quite significant a few weeks ago is now down to zilch?
I think they'll be absolutely buzzing, because they've got a point out of the game. And when it was done, the game was done, and 93rd minute Kone's come up with an equaliser, and that's kept them in that second spot. So they'll be looking, going, well, that game, we can make the gap bigger. We're at home. All the positives that you can take out of coming back from behind and taking a point. They'll be talking about those rather than the gap that's been lost and stuff like that, because, like we say, with the 10-11 games for them to go, it's so long. It will take so much out of the group to continue their momentum right at that top of the league, and all of the teams that are pushing, they're just desperate for points from wherever, and like we said, they're going to lose points, and other teams will gain points. So the roller coaster, get ready, strap yourselves in.
Totally, we're going to have plenty of twists and turns. I do always think it's difficult though, if you've been up there to be chased. It's almost like a horse taking a lead in the Grand National, isn't it? Everyone's behind you, and it's a question of can you hang on and stay there all the way to the finish. And I think Wickham will be thinking now the hot breath of Wrexham is right on their shoulder.
Well, we've been looking at the rest of the 5 or 6 behind us going, well, they've won the last 5, they've won 14 on the spin, etc. And we were looking at Wickham going, well, they've come from nowhere. So it's just, it will, let's just get on the ride and enjoy it.
We will. And the next stop for the ride is Tuesday night. Let's have a look at who is where on Tuesday, because as we were saying with Phil and with Sam Smith, 2 men who are off to Reading to see some old friends on Tuesday night. Let's see what else is happening. Birmingham at home to Stevenage, Blackpool face struggling Cambridge, Bristol Rovers against informed Bolton, Crawley facing Charlton, Exeter facing Mansfield, and of course Wrexham heading down to Reading. That's an 8 o'clock kick-off at the Meadowski Stadium, and Wickham Wanderers not in action on Tuesday night, so a chance for Wrexham to forge their way into second spot. Andy, Mia, thank you very much as ever for joining us. Looking forward to seeing you at Wickham next Saturday for our first on-the-road matchday live. And
it's going to be brilliant.
Safe travels to Reading on Tuesday night.
Thank you very much.
Okie dokie. So Rotherham United. The Millers made their journey across from South Yorkshire this afternoon. They, of course, play at the New York Stadium. But today they had no answer to our very own Uncle Sam. From all of us here at the Stoke Kairos, diolch am wylio. Good night.